Hi, I'm Izzy, aka the Zab Lab, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today's video, I just want to talk you through some stuff that I bought at a fibre festival, my current projects, and project plans for the near future. Okay, so I went to the Great British Fibre Festival on Sunday the 8th of this June. And I went in with the intention of buying a few materials specifically for me to use in my second year at uni. So I'm studying textile design, for those of you who don't know. I knew I wanted to buy some fleece that I will use in my uni project. I also wanted to buy some undyed locks for me to dye, to sell, and then also some for my personal use and also uni projects. And the third thing I wanted to buy was I wanted to buy a hand-dyed braid because I've actually never spun from a braid before. And I really want to give fractal spinning a go, so I wanted to buy a braid so that I could do a fractal spin. Okay, let's get into it because we all know we are here for the fibre. Okay, so I ended up buying 2 braids. Let's talk about the one I picked up first. Super bright, super stunning. This braid is from Demelza's Delights. I will put the website link in the description for you guys. This is 80% superwash Polworth and 20% nylon, and there's 120 grams. I believe this cost me £10. And the colour on it is insane. It's super soft and squishy. I don't know whether I'll be able to do a fractal spin from this. I hope I am. I'm going to do a bit of research into that. But yeah, I think that I want to spin this as like a 3-ply fractal spin, and hopefully I can spin it super thin because it's a braid. And I maybe will use the yarn to knit socks. I want to learn how to knit socks, right? All I can knit currently is squares, but I want to knit with handspun yarn rather than like knitting random things. I don't necessarily make like a lot of stuff with yarn. Like I make small usable objects, but I know that I would want socks because I would definitely wear them because I get cold feet in the winter. And I thought this would be stunning for that because it's so bright. I will take some videos of this out in the sunshine so you guys can see how it glows. Yeah, that's the braid I bought. I also bought from the same shop another Turkish drop spindle. This might look familiar to you guys. So I bought a Turkish drop spindle from the same shop last year when I went to this fibre festival, and I wanted to pick up another one because I love it so much. And the one I have is currently in use. Hang on. So this is the one that I bought last year, and then this is the one I bought this year. So this one has, the base of it is a lot thicker, so I can use it as a support spindle. I think it's a Russian style support spindle as well as the Turkish spindle. And the reason I bought one is because I have a spin on this other spindle and I want to start another spindle spin because the colour of this one is like consistent throughout. I'm getting a bit bored of it, so I want to have 2 spins on the go so I can like swap between the 2 when I get bored. And it also matches. And I love this spindle. When I bought this, I just started spinning such thin yarn, which is amazing, which is perfect because for me that's more usable. Okay, so that's the other thing I got. Again, I will take some better videos of this outside to show you guys. Okay, the other braid I bought is this pinky purpley braid. It's by Loom Hand Dyed Fibres. This is a Polworth base as well, 117 grams, and this braid cost me £15. I've actually never spun Polworth. I'm really excited to try it because the owner of this shop said that it's a real delight to spin, and obviously it has a similar softness to merino. I do prefer the finer wool types. Yeah, I'm just really excited to try lots of different breeds of wool and just like expand out of my comfort zone of soft merino. So yeah, I'm not sure what I'll do with this yarn as well, but I think I'll probably try and spin it the same as the other braid, to spin like a thin, maybe like DK weight, so that I can maybe knit socks with it, or I don't know yet, but I just had to buy it because it was so pretty, and I treat myself to some braids. Also, I might spin these braids during Tour de Fleece. For those of you who don't know, Tour de Fleece is a thing that spinners do during the time that Tour de France is happening, and people get together in teams and they spin as much as they can. Like, there's no pressure obviously, but like people try and spin every day, and then they count the yardage and meterage and just like add up the whole team to like work out how many maybe miles that they'd spun. So I think I might spin these during that on my wheel, but we'll see. So the next thing I bought is from Chiltern Grounds Farm. I will put their website link in the description. I'll do the same for all the people I bought from. And I bought absolutely loads of undyed white Wensleydale locks. I have never worked with Wensleydale, but the curl texture on these is beautiful. And yeah, I want to naturally dye some of these. I'll probably maybe acid dye some as well. This will have to wait until I go back to uni in September just so I can use the dye facilities there. But yeah, I bought loads of that. 2 bags to be specific. I think it was like 300 grams. Okay, the next thing I bought was some raw fleece. I've never bought fleece before, and I've never actually processed wool fleece properly, so this is going to be a bit of a learning thing for me, but I'm so excited to try. Okay, I bought 2 fleeces from the same people, so they're called Clappery Crafts. They have a cute cat logo, which is amazing. Okay, so the first fleece I got from them is a Suffolk fleece. I don't know much about the fleece and the stuff, but I saw Brian do like a little spring test, and when I do, it has a good ping. I hope you can hear that. So I like this one because it's got, the fleece has like the fleece has like a really nice crimp texture to it, and the fibre is actually like quite long, so it's quite long. It's like medium length, it's not crazy long, but I don't know, I was drawn to this fleece and it only cost me £10, so I don't know how much is there because the weight isn't on it, but like it's a big bag, so really good value. I'm really impressed. I'm happy with that. Okay, so the next thing I bought some blue-faced Leicester fleece. And then the reason I bought it is because like insane crimp on this fleece. I mean, the fleece is quite dirty, but I love a good challenge. And yeah, honestly, let me just pull one of these out of here. Like, the crimp on that, the length of this fibre is also like, that's like really long. So I have intentions to dye this. I don't want to necessarily card this fleece up. I might card some of it up to use, and then I want to dye it and have it as locks. Yeah, I actually recently worked with some Blueface Leicester hand-dyed yarn, and I actually loved working with it because there was like, I don't know, there was a certain springiness to the yarn, and it was actually surprisingly soft. So yeah, I'm just kind of, I actually don't like merino all that much. To me, the merino yarns that I've used just feel like dry and like a bit like stiff, but the Rambouillet, I've tried Rambouillet wool before, and Blueface Leicester, and I absolutely loved working with those because they were just squishy and like really bouncy and really nice to crochet with. So yeah, that's everything that I bought from the Fibre Festival. Oh, also, the next thing I need to talk about is some more fleece. So Rowan, I'll put their information on the screen and in the description for you, has very kindly sent me a few fleeces that they had for me to try. So I've got that here. I haven't actually opened these bags yet, but I will open them to take some clips to show you in more detail. So we've got this dark blue with like slightly light brown tips is blue Texel, and then this is also the white is Dorset fleece. So I've actually got quite a few different fleece types for me to try. And what I want to do is I want to try a bunch of different fibre prep for spinning. So I've obviously got a drum carder, so I'll spin from some bats, but I also want to try and maybe make some combs and use a diz to make combed, it's called comb top, for just for spinning, just to try out the different styles. I also want to spin a lot of this fleece, purely just that fleece, that's cheap, into yarn. I don't normally do that, but that's what I want to do with it. Okay, so I actually attended a workshop at the Great British Fibre Festival. I did a nettle workshop. So the workshop was called From Sting to String, run by Bridget. I don't know how to say the last name. I will put information on the screen and in the description for you guys. Yeah, in this workshop, she took us through the whole process of things to look out for harvesting nettles, for how the whole process to get them and get the fibres out. And the reason I've done this is because I want to be sourcing some of my own materials for spinning, just from what's around me. So I'm going to be foraging some nettles soon. I will probably make a whole video documenting my whole process. It's going to be a bit of trial and error learning how to do this. I'll show you what we did in the workshop. So in this little cellophane thing here, this fibre here is from the nettles, and then they also gave us a little bit of flax. I will take a better photo of that. Then we were also spinning some of the short fibres, so that's what this is. And then there was like a little bit left over. So from like one stem of nettle, we got like long fibres, short fibres, and then also fibres that needed cleaning off a bit more. So that's going to be a little thing that I do in the future. Okay, so moving on from that, I want to talk about future project plans for the summer. So the first thing is cleaning these fleeces and doing different fibre preps and just spinning it and just seeing how we get on with that. And the second thing is foraging. So obviously I spoke about nettles, so I'm going to forage absolutely loads and loads of nettles so that I can process them and get some fibre out of them, spin it to hopefully use in my second year at uni. The other thing I want to forage is some plants for natural dyeing. The two that I have in mind that I 100% am going to try this summer is yarrow and dox plants. I've got a book that I will reference back to and try a bunch of different dye plants that are in there. I think I can also do wild bedstraw, which has similar dye properties to madder, but the roots are much smaller. They don't establish as much, but they give the same sort of reddy pink colours. The other thing I want to talk about is that I'm growing some natural dye plants myself. So I've already sown and these are coming up nicely. So I've got French marigold and hollyhock. I tried to sow some black knight scabious, but I just couldn't get the seeds. To germinate, so I kind of gave up on that. But that's okay because I have the two other plants and there's plenty of stuff I can go out and forage. I will try and keep some of the dye plants I'm growing and use them fresh in September, but I will also probably harvest and dry some. I need to learn more about how to cultivate plants properly because I know that some plants to help encourage them to grow bigger and bushier, you need to take cuttings off them. So I will obviously keep as much of it as I can and dry it out so I can use it in the future. So the next thing I want to talk about is my current whips and some recent projects that I've been working on. Okay, in terms of whips, I don't have all that much to show you because life's been a bit hectic, so I've not been working on a huge amount. The first thing is I'm making a crochet cardigan. It's not finished yet. I need to weave in the ends still. I've got some better clips of that, so I'll show you. So I actually started making this ages ago. So this like mottled colour is an indie dyed yarn that I bought because I went to Japan in February. Here's some indie dyed yarn that I bought and it's a rambouillet blend, super squishy, super nice to work with. And then the pink stripes is some merino that I dyed myself. And I made like the body and the arms and I put these stripes of like some mohair and cotton, just leftover yarn that I had to do the sleeves. And then I ran out of yarn to use. So I went to Wales recently and I bought what is on the cuff here. I bought some indie dyed Blueface Leicester yarn, which is like a mottled greeny, purpley, bluey colour, which goes insanely well with this. So I've added a trim around the front panel and the neck, and then I've also started the ruffle on the bottom and I've done cuffs. So I just need to weave in the ends of this really, and then I think I'm going to block it and then just see whether the ruffle on the front is long enough because I think it will relax a little bit when I block it. So yeah, this is almost finished. I started this literally months ago. I'm very happy that I waited I was so close to frogging this, to be honest, but I'm glad I waited and found that yarn and bought that yarn so that I can finish this off soon. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is some spins that I've done. So these are the most recent yarns that I have spun. I'm still spinning on my drop spindle, but I'm nowhere near close to finishing yet, but that's fine. So the first thing I spun was this. I will also take some better photos and clips of it to show you guys. This was a bat that was on my shop and I took it off my shop for me to spin for myself. It was a fairy cake bat. I spun it as a coil ply yarn. So yeah, it's just pretty textures, pretty. And then the second yarn is this one, which is a 2-ply yarn. These were also bats on my shop. So the first bat was my sea of grass bat, and then there was also moss rock. And I wanted to apply them together. Honestly, the result is stunning. This isn't my usual colour palette or go-to, so I probably will be selling this. When I spun this yarn, I was trying out the smaller whirl on my spinning wheel because I've realised that when I spin on my wheel and I get into a comfortable rhythm of spinning, the thickness I spin, because I don't treadle super fast and I've only got a single treadle, the thickness I spin when I ply it is like a worsted weight, Aran weight yarn, and for me that is too thick because I don't really work. I want to work with thinner yarns, but I do have like another whirl notch on my wheel, so I tried using the smaller whirl and I have blocked this now. It is like not as thin as I was hoping, but I think that's because I wasn't being super consistent with spinning this and there are quite a lot of locks in here. But the result is like a light Aran DK weight, so I'm happy with that. And then when I spin the braids on my wheel, I will take more time drafting, just draft a bit slower so I get more twist in so I can spin finer because I want to spin yarn for knitting socks. So, okay, this has been like a super insanely talky video for you guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Comment below what your current whips are and what your summer project plans are. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys next time.